Welcome back to another edition of Weekly Sports Talk. I'm Jared Hilton. Alongside me is Kalehl Brown. Friday night, Cedar Falls dropped a heartbreaker to Iowa City West 21-10. They only put 10 points up on the board, but Barkley still rushed for 170-plus yards. The Tigers they had trouble. Charles Rogers, Iowa City West quarterback, is an Iowa State commit like Barkley. What did you see out of the Tigers, and how do you see them bouncing back?
Yeah, well, the Tigers struggled to get Charles Rogers on the ground. They had about 3, 4, 5 missed tackles every time he touched the ball. They've never seen an explosive runner like him. He's a great player. He's probably going to move on to play at Iowa State. Probably not as a quarterback, but as more of a cornerback, actually, I heard. And he's just going to be a great player. He's a great athlete. And, they've never played against someone like him, so it's hard to prepare and hard to, come out there, very – try, get him on the ground like that because they've never seen someone as explosive and hard running. But, it was a tough game. I think it allowed CF to, go back after this the next day and look at film and just see the things that they can improve on because it's only going to help them in the long run. And hopefully now versus Muscatine, they'll be able to go on from here and just win this game. And then hopefully down the stretch, they can just get to that state championship game in the Dome.
The Tigers really struggled when they got into the red zone. They had a 4th and 1 at City West goal line. They failed to get that in. It was a closer game than the score would show, but Cedar Falls just couldn't pull that out. Tonight they're playing in the Dome. Start time 8:45 versus Muscatine, first round of the playoffs. If they win that, they'll play most likely Iowa City High if they prevail at home tonight. That game will be on Monday if the Tigers do win. Cedar Falls volleyball went on the road and picked up a win last week. This week, they are playing regionals. Mason City defeated Boone Monday night. That put Cedar Falls playing Mason City at home Thursday night, 7 o'clock. How do you see the Tiger volleyball team coming out in their first postseason action?
Yeah, well, I heard they're really excited. They want to come out and jump out early on Mason City, get a good lead, and hopefully just take it into 3 games and no more, and get prepared to play the next opponent which would be Dowling, which is number 4 in the state. But they got to focus on this first game against Mason City. I think they're going to come out strong, and hopefully they can come out with a win because I know they're really trying to get to state, and it's going to be tough, but I think they can do it if they play really good and just all come together as a team and try to play their best volleyball.
The Tigers really need to try and jump out early and get on the Mohawks. The Hawkeyes beat Indiana 45-24 at home. This week they go on the road at Minnesota. Minnesota, not a strong opponent, but last year they did beat the Hawkeyes. It was a real intense game. Minnesota coming back. How do you see Iowa playing? What's your prediction for that?
Yeah, well, Minnesota always does play Iowa very strong, no matter if they're good or bad, usually bad. But being a Hawkeyes fan, I always want to see the Hawkeyes come out and destroy Minnesota. But Minnesota always plays them tough, and I'm guessing that it's going to be a very close one, actually, in this one. Despite how bad Minnesota still is, I think Iowa should come out on top 24-14 in this one, I'm going to say. And it should be interesting to see what that game brings for us this weekend.
Personally, I see Minnesota coming out on top. They got that dual-threat quarterback playing at home. Student Appreciation Day at TCF Bank Stadium. Love that crowd rocking again. And this is Minnesota's Super Bowl, so wouldn't surprise me if Minnesota came out and just laid it on the Hawkeyes again. Iowa State lost 33-17 to Texas A&M. Now they'll be taking it on the road at Texas Tech. Texas Tech runs that spread 5 wide receiver offense. They really like to air it out. It's going to be a real challenge for Iowa State, especially their defensive backs in particular, trying to shut down that passing attack at Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech has only lost about 1 or 2 games this season, which is very good considering they're playing in one of the best conferences in the whole country in the Big 12. And Iowa State's been struggling, and I don't think they're going to come back and get a very great win versus Texas Tech, as Iowa State's struggling right now. They're not a very good team in the Big 12. And I think Texas Tech is going to probably come out here and just get on top of them from the very beginning, and Iowa State's going to have no chance. But hopefully Iowa State can, come back in the Big 12 sometime this season. They have a very tough schedule, probably one of the toughest in the whole country, but hopefully they can get some wins out of this Big 12 conference.
It'll be interesting to see how Iowa State tries to shut down that passing attack at Texas Tech. And Northern Iowa, they beat Southern Illinois 17-10 this past week. Now they'll be taking it on the road at North Dakota State. UNI's had some close games up to this point. Some teams have played them real tough that they thought maybe wouldn't. What do you see out of the highly ranked Panthers?
Yeah, some teams have came and contested UNI actually ever since the first half of the season. It's starting to come down to the wire. Teams are trying to make the playoffs and trying to get some more wins on their schedule. And UNI has been very highly contested in these last couple of games, only winning 17-10 versus Southern Illinois Salukis team. But I think they're going to come out strong playing away at North Dakota State. They're going to try to want to maintain their undefeated record and just stay in that top ranked position in the whole country. And hopefully they can just carry it through with this and going on to playoffs, because I know they really want to try to get the Pizza Park. They have that potential and that talent in the offense and the defense of both sides of the ball this year. So hopefully they can do that and just win the whole championship this year.
Thanks for listening to another edition of Weekly Sports Talk. Reporting for the Tiger Highline Online, I'm Jared Hilton with Kalehl Brown.